Recording.
There you are.
Good evening. My name is Kirk Smallage. I am the chair for the Douglas Board of Trustees, Douglas Library Board of Trustees. Today is Monday, July 20th, 2026. It is currently at 7:07 p.m. and I will call today's meeting to order. This is a regular monthly meeting. And if you would, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Yes, the justice is that important part.
All right, at this point, if there are any public comments, this is the section of the meeting that allows access for people who are in to briefly address the board. Do we have anyone that would like to do so?
We have no members of the public.
Okay.
Unless Catherine has something, burning that she wants to say, but probably not.
Could you just let us know who's present for those of us that are remote?
Yeah, sorry, you've got Beth Fitzgerald, Dale Bland, Patty King, and Kirk Smallage, and me, and Emily is obviously virtual.
Thank you.
Were you able to hear that okay, Donna? Okay, good. All right. Hearing none nothing from the public on this particular agenda, I will move on to the reports. Regarding the minutes of the June 26th meeting, we'll turn to the secretary for a report on that.
Have you all got to read the minutes?
Yes.
Excellent.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes to received.
So moved.
Okay, motion has been made by Dale and seconded by Beth to approve the minutes from June 26th. Any discussion, corrections, additions from any of the members? Hearing none, then I will entertain a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Hearing no nays, the motion is carried unanimously.
We have one abstention.
Oh, one abstention. I'm sorry. I didn't ask for that. I apologize. So did you say that?
Yep.
Okay, Catherine. Okay.
Catherine always gets my notes.
Okay, all right. All right, we will move on next to town manager representative. Hi, Donna. Welcome tonight.
Hello, everyone. Not too much to report. We have a budget which has been open. The new year is active and departments can now submit POs and use their New Year's funds. We are working on a few building projects. I don't think the library has anything major right now, except we will be working on the parking project in the back at some point soon. We're getting some new replacement computers for all departments, and that does include some for the library. So those will be deployed over the next couple of months. And I believe that is it. Town manager search is going well. They are going to do some interviews with the semifinalists, and then hopefully finalists, and then appointment of a new town manager probably sometime in early September. So that's about it, unless anybody has any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Donna? Emily? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Dale.
No, just that I bet you'll be happy when you find a new town manager.
Did you hear that?
I couldn't hear, no.
Okay. Speak a little louder, Dale.
I just said I you'll be happy when they have a new town manager.
She said that you'll probably be quite happy when they find a new town manager.
Well, I'll re-retire, so, but I don't mind helping out at all.
Well, I'm sure I can speak on behalf of the board. We appreciate what you've been doing and thank you for that.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
I have one small question, and I'm not sure that it would necessarily go to you, but are we addressing whatever happened out front to the sidewalk and at the main entrance to our library? It's the concrete or cement or whatever you want to call it is crumbled and fallen apart right there right at the very beginning, and it looks like it could be a tripping hazard for someone. Is
At
that,
the front, the main entrance of the
yeah, the main
library?
entrance, yeah, it just looks like something that either hit it.
No, it's
Or-
been crumbling because of the salt.
Okay,
I had talked to Matt Bordeaux about it. Actually in the early spring. And I don't know what the outcome was, but it is on my
okay, so you're.
agenda to
address
to
that.
talk to him
Okay.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it looks to me like it's gotten worse. I mean, I may have noticed it in the past, but I almost tripped on it. So I guess maybe that woke me up a little bit. I was looking at my iPad, which I shouldn't have.
See, there's your
Yeah.
problem, you
And
know.
realized, so anyway, that would be nice if we could get someone to look at that.
Well,
I may-
we can take a look at it and see if there's even a temporary fix
Yeah.
before we can get the permanent solution. We'll
Okay,
take a look at it.
That would be great. I think that'd be good for all of us.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you, Don. Thanks for your report.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, for me, I'm going to defer until we get to individual items, because I don't have anything more specific, and I think it probably would be more appropriate to just wait until we discuss that. So we will then move on to our wonderful library director.
Summer reading is ticking along. We are, I believe we have about 700 registered. The staff are still trying to get to 1,000. So if you have not registered, please do so. We don't even insist that you take a ticket. We just, put your name down. They did ask if I could take the clipboard for sign up into the fire training and just tell them that they all had to sign up. But so they've been busy, lots of stuff going on for summer reading for all ages. We've kicked off a new Dungeons and Dragons club for kids, thanks to one of our new staff members, and that's proving to be popular. Lego club is wildly popular. So we're now doing an adult Lego club once a month for adults that like to come and build. So we're adding things. So we will be busy until the end of the month. And then August is our annual sort of reset and recuperate months. So it'll be quieter in here. Although we'll still be busy behind the scenes. And hopefully, I go back to the orthopedist. I have more imaging done tomorrow, and then I go back Friday. And so hopefully I will be back in the office beginning Monday, at least part-time. I'm hopeful. This working from home thing is, I miss being with the public. It's hard to be a public library director when you're not near the public. It's challenging. I can tell you that I have done a first draft of our statistics, which I will have the final numbers hopefully next month's meeting. As most of you know, I have to do an annual state and federal report, and I can tell you that first round, assuming my math is right, we circulated about 77,000 items last year, and we had almost 42,000 visitors.
Wow.
Which for a town the size of Hebron is pretty impressive. So, yeah, so anyhow, that's where we are.
For our next meeting in August, will you include that as part of the agenda?
If I have it finished, yes.
Okay.
It's not actually due until October 1st. So
Okay.
depending on whether I have everything triple
Okay,
checked and finalized and entered and all of that good stuff.
okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Busy place.
But and I do want to say kudos to the staff, especially Claire and Lita for holding down the fort when I'm not here. They're having to take on some things that they don't normally do just because I'm not present, and they've been great about checking in with me, texting, keeping in touch. So
Awesome. Well, kudos on behalf of the Board of Trustees as well for their help. Okay, we will then move on to old business, and the first item on that is just a budget update on the current 2026-27 budget.
And that was just to say that the new fiscal year is open. As of today, I've been able to start putting requisitions in. So we'll have purchase orders for some of our regular expenses. So there's always kind of a holding period at the beginning of the year when we're sort of stuck in limbo. But so I spent some time today getting caught up with that. So and as you know, we had some cuts to some line items, so we'll see where we end up.
What line items in?
Building maintenance was the big one. So we'll see. We also no longer have any money for mileage, or for training. Those were zeroed out, so,
Are there training things that you can do online?
there are some, and they do them, but we have traditionally, been able to send some of the part-time staff to like the Connecticut Library Association conference. And we won't be able to do that this year.
Where do they hold that?
It's moves around the state. Last year it was in Groton. I believe that it will be there again this coming year.
Is it big?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Could we
it's,
host it? In
No.
Warren?
no, it takes the entire conference center.
Oh, it's a conference.
It's a conference center. It's multi-days and it is a dozen breakout sessions at a
So we
time.
couldn't do like use Rams facility.
No, no,
I
no.
just wanna do some.
No, and they also, it's multi-days, so it's held at a conference center with a hotel so that they can stay over. I will end up paying out of pocket to go because it's important for somebody to go.
Right.
But it's unfortunate that those line items were zeroed. So,
Is there any chance that there's any grant money out there that we might be able to apply for to help?
not
Right,
for,
Rob?
not for that, no.
But
It would be one thing if we were looking to send someone to some of the special trainings that happen occasionally, but the State Library Association conference, the only grant funding is for library students. So, and even that, it's usually 2 scholarships are awarded a year, and there's how many with Southern Connecticut, there's how many 100 library school students.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's too
is
bad.
the Friends back in business yet?
Hang on, we haven't gotten there yet. It's on the agenda. But anyhow, the one that I'm really worried about is building maintenance.
Yeah.
That's the one that we gotta hope that nothing major goes wrong.
What was that cut by?
25,000. So
Okay, well,
anyhow,
sorry to hear that too.
that's fiscal year 27.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
We have so many not-for-profit organizations in Hebron that do so much good work. Just seems, do you have any idea of the ballpark cost of something like that for attendance for you and 1 or 2 staff members?
It cost last year, not including staying. And I can't drive back and forth. So Lita and I both went down and stayed overnight and paid for that out of pocket. If you include that, it ran about $800 each. It's about $265 per person, to go for a day. And then there's mileage and so on.
Such a terrible.
Mm.
But yeah, so.
Who's out on training?
Yeah, and
Good
it's
part.
been really good. We've always, at least certainly since I've been here, and I understand before that, we've always tried to send a rotating, so each year it's different people go. The part-timers go, and it's really nice for them to be able to interact with peers, and you don't get that with online training. And they can go to the sessions that really interest them, and I mean, there are sessions on, you name it, it's happening. And they come back with some really good ideas and things they want to try, and it's been really nice that we could offer that, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and that's what keeps this library so vibrant.
Yeah, so anyhow,
It just drives me crazy when we get those little, blurbs that the state senators or representatives put in the River East. And I think it was Needleman was the recent one that had a blurb in there and what a great job the state has done in its financial responsibility. And I don't disagree that he's right, perhaps, but to think that we've got all this money in the rainy day fund sitting there for something that might happen when we have something that is happening.
Well,
that
and
would
you
benefit
have to
us.
understand that the CLA conference is not the state. The State Library Association is not the state. It's
Right,
the professional association. It's a different,
Still be.
But the fact that they could have offered grant money or something.
But,
out of
yeah,
that fund,
so,
you know, this-
That's the problem, yeah. The library is public, and even though the State Library Association is the state, it's the organization, the peer organization that you get all your training and all your information from.
well, it's one of two, but whatever. Connecticut's weird. We have multiples. But yeah, so the state library makes an effort to make training free and available, but most of it is online. So CLA is the one chance that we have, especially for non-directors to go.
that way.
So it's a shame. But like I said, my big worry is we have to keep our fingers crossed that nothing major happens with maintenance because well, and one of the staff came in today and told me that the doorknob is trying to fall off those front doors. We've had those locks replaced or those bars replaced, I don't know how many times now, so. Yeah,
I'm sure when we get into those little situations, we'll figure out something.
Figure it out.
But, okay, thank you. Nothing else on the budget?
Nope.
Okay. Then we'll move on to, the discussion of board composition. I'm just going to point out that we have a member that is no longer in compliance with membership to the Board of Trustees, due to a lack of attendance. And so I'm faced with a decision to either, ask for a resignation, meet with the Board of Selectmen and officially ask for resignation, or wait for the particular member's term of service to expire, and highly recommend that the Board of Selectmen not return that particular member to the Board of Trustees. So I don't really want to get into an open discussion on this, but I think if anybody has, I think we all know who we're talking about. If anybody has any ideas on that, I'd certainly be open to hearing them. Because it's already, might as well call it August. By the time things move in a direction of pushing the issue to, unless it's an easy one, and just say, you know, would you recognize that you no longer are attending and could you please resign? That one probably is the easiest one, but there's also some history of some good things that have happened that you have to keep in mind. And so, again, I just want you to be aware that it's out there, and we'll figure out something. Probably in the end, it'll probably defer to wait, the term of service is over at the end of December. So I may choose to just wait and let that pass. Anyway, and we have a new candidate who is being presented to the association, which I'm very pleased. I can't name them yet because that's up to the association. There may be other people coming forward as well, but I at least know of one person that would be very welcome to be a part of our group here. So I think that's it for the board composition. We'll move on then to the RAM schools. I'm going to tell you that I've really done an about face on this issue. I was a big proponent in bringing this to the administration of whatever level to get them to be involved and help to fix the problem. I don't see that any longer as being a viable solution. I don't think they can actually fix the problem, even if they offer a site on their premises to house anyone interested in being there for time after school, either on early dismissal or on regular days, especially if it's between like the end of a day and the beginning of a sports event, for example, that they're waiting for. I think that it may be more prudent and more effective for us as a board to go and take a look. And this is where I'm not really sure how this will work, but my guess is that this board has policies that we have the right to change if we choose. And I would like to see us at least consider the possibility of changing the policy so that on I guess weekdays or maybe just period, just make it easy and say, no one that is a elementary, pre-K elementary or middle school age child is allowed to be in the library unless accompanied by an adult.
All right, so our current policy says that 12 and under must be accompanied by an adult.
Right, but I'm
And
saying,
that is, we enforce that.
right, but I'm going to say that there may be other methods for being able to accomplish that aren't so cumbersome. Number one, earlier I asked the question, and Emily and Beth responded. If in fact Ram High School issues identification cards to their students, the point would be the only ones that would be allowed admission would be a student with a student identification card. And that should be pretty easy to monitor. As a matter of fact, it should be please stop at the front desk. And that would be the requirement for anyone in that capacity. No staff has to sit there at a table and check people in. It's more or less just an observational type of thing. And if the person is not in possession of the student identification, then they should be asked to leave or come back with an adult. As simple as that. And I expect that's not going to be that simple, but I would rather, that's the only action that I see that we control to a certain extent. We have the option of being able to say, and it doesn't have to be the wording I just said, this is up for further discussion, but however it has to be accomplished, I don't know if it has to be brought to the Board of Selectmen for them to approve that because we're a town department.
No, that would be that's a board
It's
policy.
strictly a Board of Trustees.
So you're saying that only high school students would be allowed in,
Without an adult.
right?
Well, 12, like when you're 12, you're in like the 6th grade.
Yeah, I was gonna say, some of the middle schoolers, so our current policy is 12 and under must have an adult. But so some of the 7th graders who are middle schoolers are over that age
Right.
limit, they're allowed in.
I don't think they should be allowed in. I don't
Okay.
think that, I think the problem rests, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we've had in the past is almost exclusively with middle school age children, perhaps younger. I don't think it tends to be a problem for the high school kids. So, I mean, I'd like to take this at least in step one and perhaps later step two if necessary,
Yeah.
but if we came to an agreement that we are not going to have children, if you'll use that word loosely, in the library without an adult, if they're not at least carrying a high school identification card.
I don't have a problem with the 12 and under, because I can't really imagine how 12 and under could get here alone.
Well, they walk,
Well, they can.
because there are middle schoolers that are 11.
Really?
Parents are, that's my point.
Well, because I was thinking 6th grade, you finish 6th grade when you're 12. So then you're 12 at the middle school, because I can't imagine how the 6th graders can escape the elementary school, because they're not allowed to walk on.
But yeah, no, it's middle
middle
schoolers,
school. It's
yeah,
middle
that are
schools,
that are
yeah,
11 and
right.
12.
So maybe we change that to 13.
Yeah, but then I gotta, how am I supposed to prove what age they are?
Yeah, see,
I think the high school ID is much easier to manage than trying to figure out how old they are.
Right. Right. I mean, I would even go so far as that if someone were to argue, well, geez, what happens if the kid misplaces it or whatever? So maybe you put
Their problem.
That, but
that's
honestly,
probably their
that
problem,
is
but
their
maybe you
problem.
put
That's why we do that
a
at
simple
schools.
little slot box and say, when you're going to leave the library, put your card there and then,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
that way you can come and go without worrying whether you forgot it at home that day,
Well,
if you really want to.
Also, two kids use their IDs for lunch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they can't leave it with us, they have to have it with.
Oh, okay,
No.
well, then
Yeah.
that makes it even easier.
Yeah,
If they're
schools
responsible for having
require
it for
students
that,
to carry their IDs and to utilize them during the school day.
Okay. even better.
So, yeah, that's a problem if they don't have it.
Come to the desk, because when you come in, it's not really in front of you.
They all know that they're not, and we tell them beginning at the
They
very
know they have
beginning,
to go sneak
you are
into the
only,
kid room,
no, we've got cameras. And if they go to the children's room, there's a desk right there.
so they're-
And we keep an eye on the basement. That's why all of these rooms are locked. And we have cameras. And there's a reason we have cameras where we do. And
But
why
I would
things are
think
locked.
that there's nothing legal that we have if in approaching a student and saying, do you have your high school ID
Yeah.
card?
Oh, could do
Do
that.
you have a problem with that, with the staff asking for that? Do you think?
And you know
Yes.
this is after a couple of weeks. anyway.
Yeah, but we can't, if you're gonna do it, that you
You
have
have
to
to
have
do
your ID, you have to show your ID every
Every
time.
Right.
You can't be like, oh, we know who you
Oh, yeah.
are, because then you get some other kid who's like, well, you know who I am.
Yeah.
No, so if you're gonna do it, it has to be every time.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with
And
that
then
either.
what
I
if,
think that
and you're right, but then a kid may
this
leave
is,
it outside. Well, they have to go get it, bring it, and he's in the car.
All right,
or-
now, just because I know, like I said, I know our kids, what about the middle schoolers who come here to meet their tutors?
I don't think they're allowed to meet the tutor here unless the tutor's an adult.
Well, I mean, their tutors are adults, but they
Then that-
often
then
come in
that's-
to meet
that-
their-
It doesn't matter if they're not a
Well, they have to
parent.
wait.
So they've got to wait outside for the tutor to
Correct.
come,
Yep.
okay. So they're allowed on library property, but not in the building.
Correct. That's
That
up
could
to
be a
them to
problem
figure
as
out.
well, though, isn't it?
Mhm.
Now they're racing around the parking lot.
Which they do, they're,
Right.
yeah.
That
it's-
happens anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
really looking at trying to step one if necessary and hope that's enough.
it's so different. So like, my daughter came to the library and she did what she was supposed to do. But my boys never came over here. So it's such an alien thing that they would be let loose, like, that you wouldn't be supervising your kids and.
Oh, no, they, like I said, we have, yep.
But I'm not trying to make this necessarily more difficult for parents. If grandma or Aunt Jane wants to show up and take Johnny or Susie into the library to be able to use the library, not a problem.
Right.
If the next door neighbor has a child the same age as your child and they're gonna bring their child in, that's not a problem. Someone's
Just an
responsible
adult.
for that under high school age child and is with them in the library.
That was gonna be my next question.
Right.
So the adult needs to stay.
Oh, yeah, that's in our
Yeah.
code of conduct.
Just make it-
Yeah.
Do that?
And,
Oh,
and
Yeah.
I think
We don't,
If-
if an adult comes in with a kid, they know. Every once in a while, we have one who says, I'm gonna leave the teenager here while I go get my books on the other side of the room, but the teenager goes in the teen area and mom and dad go just down the way. Yeah. No, that's if the parents, if they come in with their kids, that's not a problem. It's the ones that,
they don't have any.
Yeah.
Drop offs.
right.
And are looking to
Wander-
interrupt.
Oh, it wants to just walk over them.
Yeah.
Emily, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I know you have kids. Can you weigh in on this subject a little, please?
Yeah, I'm developing some questions kind of as I'm listening to this conversation, but I think one of the bigger questions that I have right now is just kind of a hypothetical, but suppose you had like a high school student who is meeting up with their middle school sibling after school or something. Could the high school student be responsible for the sibling if they're walking together
not
after
unless
school on a
they're
half
over
day
18.
or something?
no, but I mean, we say that now anyway. So if you have like an elementary school sibling and you're a high schooler, you can't supervise your younger sibling because you are not an adult and your younger sibling's under 12.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we have,
I'm trying to text my high school son to ask him if his student ID is something that he has to carry every day, but he hasn't responded to me yet. Because I guess that would be the other question is I've worked at several high schools and every school seems to be different as far as like whether the ID is something that you're just kind of given, but you don't actually have to use for anything. At some schools, they actually have to wear it as a lanyard. It just kind of depends. And I'm not sure. I know they don't have to wear it at RAM, but I'm not sure if it's something that kids are actually like carrying with them from day to day and being asked to produce for any specific reason. So I think that would be the other question is is it something that they are going to have readily available at all times?
okay? I think that's a good question.
Right. They get
I mean, if it ends up being that that's not the case, I'm not sure that ends the issue. I think we could get creative and maybe have a photo board, I mean, for lack of a better
But I
word.
also think that they are
Something that-
issued that.
Huh?
They are
They
issued.
get,
Yeah.
every year, their school picture.
Yeah,
is their
so
student ID.
whether they
Okay.
use them or not, they are still issued.
Right, so the
that.
student, the student ID has a picture of
Yep.
them.
Yeah,
So if we put a photo board of that up and we're able to check against that.
300 teenagers and we gotta be like, hang on, I gotta scan the photo board. No, that gets clunky.
I would think that'd be on your computer,
Yeah, we still gotta, if you've got 300 kids
the scan.
and
Yeah,
you'd be
you're
like,
also-
okay, we got one kid coming in
also
going,
can't
oh, I'm on the
take
photo
photos
board.
like that.
And
You
you've got,
can't-
no,
You can't put kids
no,
shots at.
no, that's getting clunky. If we're gonna do this, it's gotta be something that the staff can glance over and go, yep, that's a high school ID. Off you go. You know, the photo board, no,
you
that
can't
starts
say.
getting.
No, they're stuck standing in line.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like I said, early dismissal days when we've got 50 kids here, I can't have staff going, okay, hang on. Let me find you in here. Scroll. Is that you? Well, it kind of looks like you. Okay, we'll say you. All right, next kid, scroll. No, it's gotta be fast.
yeah, I know our schools do. Scan them in, scan them.
Well, I wasn't expecting this to be resolved today, but I would like to have it on the agenda for August, and I would like to have you think about whether this, I mean, this is just coming out and it is a total change of the direction that we were headed in, and but I don't feel like there's gonna be any major success coming out of asking Graham Middle School to open the cafeteria up, only to have the kids leave the cafeteria because they could do that anyway.
Well,
And then walk down here, because all their friends that are in high school or wherever they're from are maybe coming down this way, but this would be like, if we decide to adopt this, I'd like it to happen in August. I'd like it to happen in a way so that we would send letters to Graham Middle School and the high school identifying this is the new policy for admission to the library. And then at the same time, put it into the River East or on Facebook or whatever, that this is the new policy for admission to the library for students. So that everybody knows, and you're not gonna
Right, so
have
nobody's
to,
mother doesn't know.
right, yeah,
So that actually makes sense, because that's something we can control rather than hoping someone else is gonna control it.
yes.
So that would mean then for next meeting, we need to have something.
I will, yep, I will,
Approved.
yep, like I said, I'm gonna have to go to our code of conduct policy and I will have to edit.
Drusilla, it's
Yes.
Donna. Can I ask a question?
Of
Sure.
course.
Are you aware of any other libraries that have a policy for the similar to
There-
this?
There is one that I know of that has something similar. They're in a bigger town, so they have a staff member who checks IDs for students at the door. And
Okay.
they have a limited where the kids can go in the library, kind of like we do, actually. We limit them to one floor.
Right.
But I will also check with the state library and make sure that there's nothing that I'm not thinking of that might prevent us from doing this. I don't
Okay.
think so. I think that it's, if all we're doing is being like, is your ID Ram High School? And that's the other question. Emily, do you know or can you find out if the high school and the middle school IDs are clearly differentiated?
I can find out, not right at this moment, but I can report back.
Because otherwise
Um,
that's gonna get interesting.
I was wondering the same thing too, because if they both
So
just
long
say
as it says
RAM,
so that they
then
can,
that's not helpful.
yeah, if staff can glance at it and it says, Ram High School versus Ram Middle, as opposed to just Ram,
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
the text.
I think they say.
that's,
But I haven't physically seen. it.
yeah, that's why,
From at home. I have some from graduation, if anyone wants those.
I'm good, but thanks.
They never change them.
Oh, that's nice. But yeah, I will check. Like I said, I am pretty sure I remember which library it is that has a person who wrangles teenagers and double check, and I'll check in with the state library and make sure that there's nothing I'm missing. I think we cannot ask them to like write their names down. Like we can't require ID to, no. You cannot require, just like I can't require you to sign in to use the library. Anybody is welcome in this building. It is a public space.
But isn't it anybody that's an adult?
Rockville Town Hall, the town, you have to sign in to go.
Not
to
the
Rockville.
library, though. Nope, the library is a public space and we cannot require you to sign in just to exist. It's one thing if we're giving you an item to take out of the building, because then we have a reasonable expectation that we should be able to get it back. But to use the library, we can't require that you sign in. So I know that, but I think if we're just looking at ID and going, yes, that is a high school ID, moving right along, I think we can do that.
Okay.
So
I
will
did get
double
an
check.
update just now from my son. He said that they are issued IDs, but they don't have any reason to use it during the school day, so they usually don't or aren't necessarily carrying them on a daily basis. So I think if we were to do this, the kids probably would need
It
definitely
would be-
advance
I
notice
was gonna
that,
say there'd be a learning curve, so, okay, but there always is at the beginning of the school year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is all the more reason that if we're gonna do this, we need to kind of push it along before school starts.
So like I said, I will make those checks and then, do a draft amendment to our current policy.
Emily, I'm interested in your opinion on the difference in this idea versus going back to the RAM administration and try and make them responsible somehow.
Yeah, I think this makes more sense. I think it needs to be done in-house because like you said, even if they were to offer something there, I mean, when kids are done with the school day, a lot of them just want to get out and walk around and do things outside of the building. So it's not necessarily going to prevent them from coming to the library. I mean, it may give some kids a place to be, but they still would have to choose that option and nobody can force them to. So I think if
Okay.
we want to see a change, it needs to be done through policy or whatever within the library. I think that's the right move.
Okay, thank
Communicate
you.
with Graham,
Yeah,
what our
Yeah.
policy is going to be.
Yeah, we'll adequately do that, but, and just a quick question, as a slight aside. When you talk about sign-in, are you talking about adults only? That can't be required to sign in?
no, we can't,
Even
you
kids
cannot, nope, it's a right to privacy
or everybody?
for everybody. You can come in this building and use any of our resources on site without any kind of proving that you live here, proving who you are, giving me an ID. It's a right to privacy and a freedom to access information.
Okay. Be interesting to know if other libraries, to Donna's question, there's gotta be something other libraries do like this.
I used to
Yeah.
study in
Accountability.
Covington last week, and I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah,
but
no,
Sign up.
Nope, you can't, no, that is a professional principle that we do not ask you to give us any information to use any of our resources on site.
Cause I use
Yeah.
libraries all over the country.
No, that's the American Library
Yeah, no,
Association Code of,
I can
yeah.
hear, but I mean, in light of the problems that we've had, is this one counter to that concept to ask for the senior high school ID?
Like I said, if we're not asking for names, we're
Okay.
just, and I would tell my staff, I don't care what their name. If it says Susie and it looks like it should be, I'm not getting into that.
Okay,
I'm not getting into you prove who you are. I want to see that it's a high school ID.
okay.
That I can do. I
Oh, you
can't,
take out of town.
it's high school ID. If it applies to, again, we also cannot limit access.
Well,
So,
yeah, good, I'm glad.
yeah, no,
I guess
so long as,
read high school ID.
Yeah, cause you know what, if you live in
Yeah.
Hebron and you go to East Catholic or Xavier or Mercy.
Yeah,
you
the
wanna-
technical schools.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
they're
wanna-
bussed into the center of town,
Yep.
so.
You want
so,
your town library, you may.
but that's, you can walk into any library in the state and use it. Even if you don't have a Hebron ID or a Hebron library card, you can go in and use the library. That's,
Physically wearing their IDs, I don't know.
Okay. Anybody else have any other comments on this? We'll just defer this for the August meeting, but our director do her thing and see if we can, figure out a way to maybe put a little bit of a,
Bit of law and order. in place.
yeah, through our own efforts, right,
Right.
without it being
I think that
a,
makes
a
100%
big burden.
better.
You know, a small burden, okay, maybe, but not a big burden. So if it helps, that would be a really good thing. All right, next item under still old business is the Friends of the Library, and I'm hoping you have some type of a. Mark,
So I did hear from Maria. They have officers for the purpose of paperwork. Which you need to have officers in order to file 501(c)(3) paperwork. So they have officers. She is working on the paperwork. She's also working on an MOU and bylaws, which she was gonna try to send me this week. So that I can get back to her with any comments I might have, and then they would be ready to go to the town. And she was hopeful that she would hear back from the IRS, and then obviously do all the filing with the state of Connecticut and whatever, by the fall. Although with the IRS staffing what it is, they'll get there when they get there.
Yeah.
But she said they had all of what they needed to file that paperwork. So they're moving.
Good, good, good. That's encouraging. Okay, thank you for that. And we're gonna defer the recognition from a board member to the next meeting in August, where you'll perhaps have more opportunity to share what's going on at that point. Okay. New business. Should we pass this out or,
I want to talk to Donna first to make sure she's seen it.
okay, so you want to
Yep,
wait on that?
we'll hold on that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so, any new business from any of the members? Okay. Any other business? The difference is semantics, I guess.
Everybody sign up for summer reading if you have not
Okay.
signed up for summer reading.
Right.
There's a thingy.
Upstairs, I should have brought the clipboard down. Yeah,
Okay.
it's upstairs, circulation. Dale has signed up. Dale's gotten her raffle tickets.
I've read several books.
My wife is ahead of me, she's got hers. Doesn't look good for
Can I sign my husband?
It's fine with me.
Well, you can't, I can't sign people up that aren't, or I mean, I can only sign myself.
You can sign your family up. They can't get a ticket unless they show a raffle ticket unless they actually show up. So,
That's the big library. He
Okay.
goes to Eastern to be time to get a book.
okay, well, why isn't he coming here?
I'm not rushing. He tried. He comes here. Vacation.
Yeah.
He's a very good library. visitor.
He's an avid reader.
He is an avid reader, yes, I did that. He's reading this fall, his project is, he's going to read all the books that you have to read in high school, like The Catcher in the Rye and.
Okay.
Oh,
So
really?
he's going all the way back to ninth grade and reading.
Ah.
All of the, okay.
Wow.
Because he's read, what was his recent thing? Presidential biographies.
All right,
Like,
I
pretty-
am working on my summer reading. The teenager who does her homework in my office, who's the children's librarian's daughter, is taking Spanish. And so I have decided single-handedly that because I am the Spanish tutor by default, which is what happens if you're doing your homework in the office of someone who's fluent. You know, why would you ask the teacher when Drusilla's right there? So we are having a Spanish book club and we are reading Lemony Snicket in Spanish.
How?
Because I happen to have
A Spanish.
the Spanish copy of Lemony Snicket and I found another one, so that is what we are doing.
That's
love
very
it.
fun.
You know.
Cool. All right, well, if there are no items under new business or other business other than signing up for summer reading, which I hope everybody will do.
Go do.
Wait.
Wait, you know, you got readings first. Look up there.
I still have to at least address, and we'll do it as a group. Do any of the committees have anything to report at this time? And I'll recognize anybody that says me. Hearing no me's, then I'll defer then on to a motion to adjourn.
I think a motion.
Dale moves to adjourn and Patty seconds it. All those in favor say aye. Any
Aye.
opposed, say nay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Donna, for joining us. Thank you, Emily, for joining us, and thank you, Catherine, for being here.
Good night.
Thank you. Have a great night.